think we're good. All right. I think we're good. I think we're hot. If anybody doesn't hear us properly, let me know in the comment section. But we're going to get to...
Testing.
Yeah, I think you're good.
I think we're good.
I'm going to turn off that little beeping noise, but for now, that's everybody chiming in. I want to get to... Hey, Rory, why do you look at that? There's that little chirping noise in the comments. It's people when they comment. Is there a way to turn off the chirp?
Chirp, chirp.
You hear it? But anyway, while he's doing that, I want to get to the sponsors. Head over to www.johnbartoloshow for a complete list of the sponsors. Go check them out. I want to name a few of them now. I want to thank Gallo Technologies, Rhino Metals, Blackwater Ammunition, Enforce Weapon Lights, Pulsar Thermal Imaging Technology. Of course, I want to thank Volquartz Firearms, Right On Optics, Kenzie's Optics, and of course, I have to thank, did I thank Enforce Weapon Lights? I got them. Advanced Warrior Solutions. Go check them out. Go buy a bag. Do something. Support the brands. Appreciate all the brands that support the show. Can't thank them enough. You hear that chirping? You hear it? How do we stop that? See what you can do.
It's probably the screaming.
Well, I got to hype you. I got a special guest today that I have to hype first before we switch it to him. I got to hype you. He is the face of Geeks and Gamers. He is the face. And he is the brainchild behind it. We got the one and only Jeremey from Geeks and Gamers.
What's up, Geeks and Gamers? No, that's not my channel, but happy to be here. The first thing I want to do is show off this. I want to set the tone.
Don't touch it with your fingers. Human fingers have never touched.
Set the tone right there. Signed by...
We move closer. Let's hear
all right.
this whole...
Signed by the great 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump. A gift from my friend John Bartolo.
Yeah.
Happy to be here, man. Fantastic setup you got here. You've taken first-class care of me and my crew.
We try.
A lot of food, a lot of drinks, a lot of talking, a lot of bullshitting, and now here we are.
You booze, you lose.
That's it, man. So I even have my John Bartolo
mug.
Feeling pretty good about myself.
I'm excited.
I'm nervous.
I would be. We asked the hard-hitting questions here. Rory, throw me my phone. Throw it over. Just throw it. We asked the hard-hitting questions here.
Nice.
This is the most difficult atmosphere to ever be in. This is the Thunderdome. And I want to get right out of the gate early with you. What in God's name made you start a channel named Geeks and Gamers?
Interesting. It's been a really kind of crazy path to get to where we are. I started Geeks and Gamers back in 2011. It was video game tournaments, localized video game tournaments. I grew up playing a lot of sports, and you know, there was online gaming was starting to take off around that time, and online gaming's fun. You know, you can talk shit, you can have fun with people, you can make them cry, you can have the 12-year-old threaten to ban you off of Xbox Live because his dad's the CEO. All that's fun and everything, but I missed like that talking shit aspect in person. So I wanted to create like localized video game tournaments for console players, Xbox 360, PlayStation. You talk shit, you play Call of Duty. So we did some video game tournaments. And I just decided I was going to call it either one of two things. I was either going to call it Calling All Gamers or Geeks and Gamers, to kind of have something that was going to be interesting for people to go, what is this? And I want to be part of it. So Geeks and Gamers ultimately was the name I landed on. We ran about 6 tournaments throughout a calendar year, so one every 2 months. They picked up progressively each time that we hosted them. But it got to be very stressful. I mean, the more people that were there, the more liability was on me. You know, hundreds and hundreds of people there.
Like a nightclub owner.
Yeah, it got to be pretty stressful. So I backed off of that, and then Geeks and Gamers just eventually evolved into many other things to get us to where we are now. But that's kind of that was the initial.
And I think you serve the community better as a media outlet.
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting. I mean, just because, Hollywood's making it easy because so few people will call them out. And that's what's given us the platform we have, is because we are going to call Hollywood out. We're going to call the gaming companies out and all the BS that's going on, because they've lost all focus as to what they're there to do. They're there to create a product, not to trash people that want their product.
So give everybody listening who's not familiar with Geeks and Gamers really some of the atrocities that are going on in the universe in Geekdom.
Well, I mean, much like anything, the world of geekdom, movies, video games, it's all been taken over by political propaganda and far left extremists. And we've gotten to a point now where we can't enjoy anything that was part of our childhood, anything that we had growing up. It's all been compromised by politics. Hollywood constantly trying to project and virtue signal and preach. Video game companies that won't stop bringing Gamergate up, even though that's not even something that's relevant today. There's just a lot of different problems with the entertainment industry. Geeks and Gamers was never intended to be something that it is now. It's that it evolved into where it's at now because of Hollywood and how they're trying to ruin so many of our different properties. And so Geeks and Gamers has kind of evolved into this thing where I wanted to give a voice to anyone with common sense. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care what your opinions on things are. But if you have a basic level of common sense and a working brain, I want to give you an opportunity to have your voice on this platform and hold people accountable when they're creating bad products. And we've been pretty successful up to this point.
And then you got the ultimate gift, the whole Gina Carano debacle.
Yeah, I mean, they literally did exactly what we accused them of doing.
But how dumb. See, what I want to get to is how dumb Disney or the brain trust that is Disney are that they can't read the tea leaves and figure shit out.
Well, it's that...
Like, does the ego supersede the common sense? Where does it all meet to create that perfect storm of stupidity?
It's an echo chamber. And I don't think that the people at Disney are necessarily stupid. I think that their arrogance has taken them to a place that...
will tell the people what they want.
Yeah, I mean, they believe that they are smarter than everyone else. They believe that they know better than everyone else. And they've created this culture to where if you disagree with them, then you're a racist, toxic man baby who's part of far-right extremism. That's what they've created. So any criticism they face, they just respond with that, well, you're just intimidated by women or you're intimidated by black people. Even if it's women and black people criticizing them, that's been their narrative. So I don't think they're stupid. I think that they're arrogant. And I think they're bad people. I think they're just really bad people in Hollywood.
How scared, though, should people be about this, Jeremy? Because I see it as almost like critical race theory in schools, right? Where you start infecting things like the Marvel Universe, Star Wars, other cultural things with your poison, with your bullshit, with your forced narratives. How dangerous is that?
Very, because it's not about the entertainment industry. The entertainment industry is the vehicle they're using. The same people that called us racist and sexist for not liking a Star Wars movie are the same people that are now calling you a danger to society if you don't get a certain jab that you don't think is good for you or your family. And they've decided that if you don't do what they want you to do, then you're a danger. And it kind of goes back into the whole mentality. If you don't like a movie I like, you're a racist. What the fuck are you talking about? It's a fucking movie.
We were talking about a little of this offline. Yeah,
it's a fucking movie.
Did you
and
see
now they've moved it.
Comments
what happened
on Space Jam?
What did he say?
He said that systemic racism is the reason. Space
No, that
Jam
was
didn't make
actually
any money.
a joke. It was actually a joke. It's from a meme account.
Oh,
a
was
lot
it?
of people fell for that, including my boy Quarter Black Garrett from the Crowder Show. You know you fell for that one. But LeBron James is a piece of shit. Let's
Right.
make that
We
clear.
don't have to
Like,
spoon feed him
I
more
will
piles
never
of
take up
shit.
for
He's
LeBron
not
James.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he will never. LeBron James will never be Michael Jordan in any capacity whatsoever.
Not
That's another
culturally,
discussion.
that's a whole other podcast.
But yeah, I mean, it's a thing where that same type of mentality that we're seeing, and again, if it was just about movies, if it was just about a Star Wars movie, or if it was just about a video game, it's not really that big of a problem for me. It's because of the bigger inherent problem that we're seeing that is taking over even sports now in a lot of ways. The NFL with the kneeling bullshit, the NBA with the BLM.
Well, the NBA is out of control. That's out of that's out of control. That's total pandering. Yeah. It got to the point where one of the WNBA teams was like wearing shirts saying "fuck their owner." The woman who was running for Senate in Georgia. I mean, that whole situation with the professional NBA teams is out of control. What were you going to say? You're going to chime in.
Not to mention the Olympics now too.
Oh God, what happened now? Anything new that I need to know about?
Some people kneeled. Some people turned their back against the flag.
They're all cunts.
They are.
That's the only way to put it.
They are. I mean, they're all cowards, and they're all willing to just follow the trend and the narrative. They're scared to actually speak out against anything that's really happening. They're only willing to speak out about what's acceptable.
And everybody's trying to get a thumbnail or get a headline, and they got a PR person that tells them, do this will get you more. I'm convinced a lot of these celebrities don't. Like, to me, right, like Demi Lovato is a good example, right? To me, Demi Lovato doesn't know what planet she's living on.
Yeah.
And the fact that anybody should take advice from her is fucking delusional.
I can't name a song from her.
And the fact that she can go into an ice cream shop and say, it shouldn't say guiltless cookies, and people listen.
Yeah.
She isn't entitled. And listen, one of the things that people say, like, wouldn't you have that person on your show? Like, who am I to be saying that stuff? Listen, of course I would have them on. This is Switzerland. I'll put anybody on the show that wants to talk about their journey or their role in something. But when I look at it and I read the tea leaves and I try to make an educated adult assumption, I look at somebody like that and I see somebody with millions and millions of dollars that doesn't know what to complain about.
Yep. No, that's true.
That's what I see.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, it's like they've created this narrative around Geeks and Gamers as to it's X, Y, Z. I mean, I will never not talk. If someone wants to talk to me, I'll talk to you until you burn that bridge. And I've had a few people that's burnt that bridge with me on multiple occasions, but it didn't. The bridge didn't get burned without me offering you the opportunity to walk across it multiple times. It's not like I burned it before the opportunity even happened. So they've created this idea that you can't speak with this person or that person because of X, Y, and Z, where I look at, like I told you earlier, I've never been the biggest follower of UFC. I'm a big sports fan, but Dana White's mentality and how he runs UFC is how literally every sports company and league should be operated. Let the guys that are here speak their minds.
But we both know what happens, Jeremy, is these corporations come in, like Disney or whoever, and they say, we'll give NFL $10 million for an ad package.
Yes.
And of course, sooner or later, that's going to be corrupted. Right? Because they're going to have an agenda, and so is the next company given $10 million, and the next and I'm so oversimplifying by using a dollar amount.
Yeah.
But they come in with an agenda, and they want you to adhere to the agenda. These are all sellouts, okay? Roger Goodell has sold his soul 500. How many licenses does the NFL have? You can probably Google it. It's tens of thousands, right? He sold his soul that many times.
Yeah.
Take it from me and you that have much smaller entities. Every time you sell a piece of the show, you sell a piece of yourself.
Right.
And that's the plus and minus of money. And one of the reasons that YouTube was so great when it was first created was it was this place that you could put content. Now, I'm in the camp, and I'm of agreement that, yes, you can't be spewing lies, okay? You can't just spew lies, okay? It's the fire analogy. You can't yell fire in a movie theater. But at the same time, there's a happy medium between this is my opinion, and this is the way I see it. And I get everybody out there, the freedom of speech yellers. Listen, you can't yell fire in a movie theater. You can go to prison for that. And you should, because there's reasons for that. You have to be a little responsible. But now the responsibility thing has shifted so much that everything is because you think that you're irresponsible and you're weak or you're this or you're that. You're not even allowed to have an opinion anymore. And that's part of the struggle.
But the problem is that, I have no problem with rules. I have no problem with regulations. I have no problem with guidelines. What I have a problem with is the lack of consistency. If I can't have a opinion on X, Y, or Z, why the fuck can CNN have a completely different opinion?
Because they have better ad buyers, they have more revenue.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm just rhetorically asking, but that's the whole problem with it, where you tell creators they can't do this, but the mainstream can do it. So how are we supposed to know what we can and can't say within reason? And that's the frustrating part.
You didn't get the talking points on COVID?
I did, unfortunately, and that's why I don't even talk about it, because I can't talk about what I really want to talk about.
And it's crazy because I went down a wormhole with that, where I get people that send me all this information about COVID and mRNA and studies and what this shot does and doesn't do and how there's carcinogens in the test kit and this and that. Guys, I have endless information. It's how do you go public with it in a responsible way? Then that's the struggle. You try to have some integrity as a journalist, and the problem is at CNN they have none, and they're allowed to have none. They operate with total impunity.
Yes, they have Trump derangement syndrome. They seriously do, and we see it across the board. A few days ago, a story broke about, and I know I'm switching gears back to Hollywood, but the story was Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker. He has one of the more severe cases of TDS because the guy all through the election, he was like, I just want us to vote Trump out so we can never talk about him again. What is he still doing on his Twitter account? He's still crying about Trump.
It's weird with Mark Hamill because he's someone that he could be as liberal as he wants. I don't have an issue with it. What I have an issue with is like, just play your role in the movie and don't make us have to swallow whatever it is that comes out of your Twitter. I've always liked how Mark Hamill handled himself in terms of he was able to separate the on-air character from the from what he does, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like if you could separate the two and be an adult about it, that's fine. But you're right. There comes a derangement where they stay on that one topic, and that's systemic with everything else. That's systemic with COVID, with other, because they don't know what to complain about. And it comes back to my theory with Demi Lovato. We don't know what to complain about, so we'll just complain to complain.
Right.
Whatever the issue. And if nothing's laying around, let's pick up Trump. Yeah. Because why not?
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, he's their boogeyman. They've tried to turn it over to Tucker for a little while or DeSantis, but it just continues to go back to Orange Man because that's what they're programmed to do. That's why the term NPC has been something we've used a lot. And so NPC is a non-playable character in a video game. The only words that character is supposed to, or the only words that character can say is the pre-designed
I'm listening.
words.
I'm getting nice. Keep going.
The only words that character can say is the prearranged set that the computer gives it, and the only way it can say different words is if you update it. We have Ryan from RK Outpost here. What's up, Ryan?
Infiltrated.
Crashing the fucking party. And so these guys are NPCs. They are only allowed to repeat the talking points that the mainstream has given them, and Mark Hamill is a classic example of that.
So where does it go from here?
Where it goes from here is that they're going to continue to run things into the ground. So something that a lot of people in my sphere has been covering is the comic book industry. The comic book industry, the American comic book industry, has completely collapsed because they've hired radical feminists and activists to ruin these properties, and they've driven it into the ground. Now you have Animae and Manga, which are totally dominating the industry because Marvel and DC have alienated their fan base so much to the point where people simply aren't even just talking about it. They're not even like, it's kind of like me with Star Wars. I'm beyond complaining about Star Wars. I'm so detached from Star Wars at this point. I just don't care. I have no desire to talk about it because you've put me to the point where it's not even worth complaining about anymore. So creating new properties, focusing on the properties that are, giving you a good product, and moving away from the shit show that Hollywood's producing.
I just want to figure out where it's going.
Where it's going is they're going to collapse the industry.
Well, my issue is like all this stuff, this woke stuff, and I'm a transvestite and I'm going to shove it in your face, and I'm a she-male and I'm a this and I'm a that. I'm a him, her, ma'am, sir, whatever you want to call it. All this stuff is marching towards something, and I still believe to an extent that it's marching towards like this okayness, like this. We're gonna normalize pee-pee touchers and weird.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, and that's what they're trying to normalize. And it's kind of funny coming off the whole Epstein thing. I have a deeper conspiracy theory that I see playing out, and it just is troubling to me that people would be okay with, hey, we're going to have joint sports or communal sports or whatever. And I'm all for co-ed, like in intramural and at college, like you have a lot of fun with some co-ed stuff. Mm-hmm. But that's where it should stay.
Right.
And this forcing of this is dangerous.
Once you give these far left people an inch, and it's that saying, they will literally try to take a mile. When you give them the mile, they want 10 miles. When you give them 10, they want 20. They're never going to be happy. They're never going to be satisfied. There's literally nothing you can do other than ignore them and make fun of them. That's it. Make fun of them to monetize their stupidity, because if you try to have a conversation with the far left-wing extremist, you've lost.
100%.
You have lost the moment you try to compromise with them, because they're not interested in compromise. They're interested in playing the victim no matter what you give them. That's it. So do not have that conversation at all.
So to the lay person playing a Blizzard video game, mm-hmm. What do they need to know? What's the wokeness they need to? How do we catch it? How does it go around?
Well, I mean, I guess that's the thing they're trying to do, is they're trying to push things into situations where they're getting a younger mind that's developing. They're trying to
100%. I'm glad you're getting into this. Yeah,
they're trying to condition them to make them think that this is the normal way of thinking. That's why the critical race theory is such a big issue right now. And So I don't know how to battle that other than have good parenting, because ultimately it all comes back to good parenting. If you have bad parenting, if you have shitty people that aren't raising their kids the right way and teaching them right from wrong, then you're going to have a young, impressionable mind that these far left radical extremists are going to be able to compromise. So it really starts and it begins and ends with good parenting. And you need a mother and a father in the home. As controversial as that sounds, that's what you need. And if you don't have that, then you're looking at giving the opportunity to these radical people out there to manipulate your child's mind.
I think it goes beyond that too. I think if so, I want everybody to understand this. I think if you're somebody that maybe you're a homosexual, maybe you're a co-parent, I think what we're trying to say is somebody has to be the dad and somebody has to be the mom. And I get it. I can understand where people are coming from. I can understand how the value set that they maybe want their young one to have. But you have to, at the very least, what we can all agree on is that children go through that very critical stage of development. And that's what you're getting at. They go through a very critical stage of development.
Yes.
And you don't want your school or your community forcing something on them that's going to maybe alter their thinking in a way that forces them down a path. Like, we all know what we do. And when you're doing that to a child, someone that's in the developmental years that are so critical, and you're poisoning their mind with whatever, whether it's critical race theory, whether it's cancel culture, call out culture, at the end of the day, what kids need to hear is sometimes some things need to be settled on the playground.
Yep.
That's just the real fucking reality.
Yes.
So you could say mom, dad, sister, aunt, some things need to be dealt with on the playground.
Yep.
And everybody would benefit a lot better if they were punched in the face once in their life.
Yeah, I mean, it's why sports have always been such a valuable tool for young boys to kind of develop that ability of learning, the element of leadership, or learning the ability of maybe you're not the top guy on the team, but your shortcomings can have a huge detriment to the team, even if you're not one of the prominent people. And that kind of goes back into a real day job. You're only as strong as your weakest link. That's the attitude that we have to have. Everybody's not going to be the alpha. Everybody's not going to be the leader, but it still doesn't mean you're not just as important with the pieces of that puzzle in a team element. And right now, everybody's getting a trophy. Everybody wins. Fuck that. Everybody doesn't fucking win in life. Some people win and some people lose. And then when you lose, that makes you go, okay, do I want to strive more to get it, to earn it, or do you just want to pout and run away?
What's worse than that mindset? Bullshit. What's worse than that mindset, though, is the mindset of the people that believe that should be the way.
Oh, yeah.
That's terrifying.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It is.
I can understand at a T-ball level.
Yes.
Like, I always say that, like at a T-ball level, it's always a tie, right? But you knew who won.
Right.
And at that age, you felt good saying, we tied,
Right.
and we get that. But that wears off.
Right.
That's up there with Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny.
Absolutely. And I don't...
If you're young and you're listening to this and you believe in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, I'm sorry.
He's a great guy.
I'm not telling my kids a fucking grown bunny sneaks in the house.
If you're listening to this at a young age and you believe in Santa, that you tell your parents that I was just talking about them. They're clearly not doing a good job of monitoring what you're doing. But
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. But yeah, I mean, it is a problem. And again, the video game industry is the biggest industry right now, billions and billions of dollars. And so when you see Call of Duty forcing in that Black Lives Matter messaging, and of course Black Lives Matter is a strategic name. The whole point of the name is to say, if you oppose Black Lives Matter,
you're a shitbag.
You are a racist. And it's like, we're not opposing the literal term Black Lives Matter. We're opposing the radical organization that is meant to take money so that these far left-wing people can benefit while never trying to help black people. But it's a very strategic name. And then they put that into your Call of Duty message, literally forcing you to press a button to show your support for it. That is clearly trying to condition young minds.
Of course.
That's what it's about.
And to everybody that sends a super chat today, we'll find a way to give all that back, whatever comes out, less taxes. But we'll find a way to give that back in some giveaway or something Friday. We'll figure something out.
Shout out to everybody here from the Geeks and Gamers world.
Yeah, we got some of the comments scrolling by. I do want to say hello to everybody that is kind of popping up. Is there any way we can enlarge that, Rory? Make that bigger so you can see it? Gotta get another monitor on the desk. Can we do a splitter? Something like that? I'm sure we can.
In here. We see a bunch of canceled Jeremey messages. That's a meme that goes around in our community, which is beautiful.
So you've built this community, and it has to be humbling. What do you want to say to them?
Yeah, I mean, it is. I don't spend enough time focusing on what we've become, just because I'm so focused on what else we need to do. But there are often moments where I try to at least take a quick glimpse and think about it. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty amazing, because just a few years ago, I was just a retail worker trying to build this thing up, seeing other YouTubers that I was a big fan of that now don't like me because we're bigger than they are now, and they're just jealous pieces of shit. But yeah, what we've created and the team we have and the people that I've surrounded myself with, I surround myself with people that are more talented and more intelligent than me, not including Ryan, because fuck him. But I have some really talented people around me, and the only way we're able to do what we are able to do is because of the community of people that follow us, and they support us, they understand what we've created. And, there's a lot of different voices at Geeks and Gamers. There's people that do disagree with my politics, and I'm okay with that. There's people that do disagree with my takes on movies, and I'm okay with that. The worst thing you can do is agree with me on everything. You're probably not going to make the team if that's the case. People like Ryan wouldn't be here if that was the case. Like, Ryan and I don't agree on a lot of things in terms of just our general opinions on video games and things like that. Obviously, we get along great in what our vision is for what we want Geeks and Gamers to become, but I think we have an opportunity because we live in a world where everybody says, diversity and inclusion and representation and different opinions, these are so important. But that's bullshit because, people that believe in that aren't simply preaching about it. They're just actually doing it. And we're actually doing it with Geeks and Gamers. We actually have created that environment of different opinions and having different people with different backgrounds. And it is pretty amazing to think about what it's all become in such a short amount of time. But at the same time, I'm not even close to being satisfied. And that's why I just never stop. You just never stop. We've got, 7 YouTube channels that are Geeks and Gamers directly. And then we have the Twitch channel. We have the website. We have all of these people that are on the team that their channels represent Geeks and Gamers. And it's been crazy. I mean, I've had people like Taj Jackson, who's Michael Jackson's nephew, who's a fan of Geeks and Gamers. I've had him on the channel, which still blows my mind that, and the first time I talked to him, he was here in Vegas with Janet at a concert. I'm going, a member of the Jackson family is a fan of mine? What the fuck is going on? It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I loved old school Janet.
Oh, yeah, dude, yes. Old school Janet was amazing. But, it's been a wild ride. I've met a lot of people. I've got to do a lot of different things, and it's only motivated me to know that we're only a small percentage of the way of where I want to take us. And so the people that are in the chat, the people that support us, the Friday Night Tights meetup, which we're here in Vegas for, is unbelievably humbling to see how all this.
We may have major announcements on the Friday Night Tights. We may.
So we've got a lot of good stuff, and it's only the beginning for us. So it is humbling.
If we get enough super chats, maybe we'll give away something crazy. I'll think of something.
Oh snap!
We'll give away something nuts.
You hear him?
So it's exciting. It's exciting to watch you shape this whole thing that is Geeks and Gamers. I can't imagine you thought it would get this far. The real thing is how far it can go, and I know that some pieces are being put in place to take it to the next level. So the support of everybody in the field is incredibly important. And I tell people all the time, whether it's this show, Geeks and Gamers, or anything, it's only going to be as good as you guys share it, push it out there.
Yes.
Support it in any way, comment, tag, thumbs up, whatever it is that you do that you're comfortable doing it and doing it often.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, the power of our individual voices is something that I don't think any of us have fully recognized. And again, I always say, people, what does Geeks and Gamers stand for? It stands for individuality. That's it. That's really what Geeks and Gamers stands for. The brand itself doesn't have an opinion. You know, you look at our Twitter accounts, and the brand doesn't have an opinion. The individuals within the brand have an opinion, and that kind of expands out to the people that follow us. Your voices collectively are so powerful and important if they come together for something, you know, that they believe in, and I don't think we've all realized
So if I'm John Bartolo, commenter, sharer, friend of the program, so to speak, how do I become a Geeks and Gamers influencer?
How do you? So you're talking about how would you become part of the team?
Yeah, like how does someone that's interested out there say, Jeremy, I want to be a... How do I support you the best way?
So the best way to support me and Geeks and Gamers...
Give me your money.
Is, again...
fucking money and get out of the way.
Sign up to the website, and that's for free if you just register to the website. The next step is to become a premium member of the website. That is our platform. There's nobody else that's going to take that away from me. That's our platform. So signing up to the website is the number one thing, but there's obviously a lot of various ways. Now, in terms of coming onto the team or anything like that, I'm very strange about how I do that. I operate with my gut. There's no rhyme or reason as to how I bring people on. For instance, Ryan, I met Ryan at a meetup in San Diego.
And he turned your fucking stomach.
He was a piece of shit, and I knew if he's a piece of shit to me, he'll be a piece of shit to everybody else, and that'll turn the needle. But I met Ryan, and, you know, Gary and myself saw something in Ryan, and neither one of us knew that the other was having the conversation with Ryan about, hey man, you're well spoken, you know what you're talking about.
Just all reports came back solid.
Yeah. And so, you know, brought him into the team. I remember I had a conversation with him early on, and I was just like, he was doing so good. I was like, I'm going to go ahead and give you access to the main YouTube channel. And I said, you need to understand how fucking important this is, because I'm giving you the keys to the kingdom based on my gut feeling. But there's other people on the team I've brought them on for various different reasons. Earlier, we were sitting out, out there talking, and you were talking to Krista, asking her how she got involved. And that was another situation where I just kind of saw Krista, and I just looked at a video she made. I had a good gut feeling about her.
Good sincerity.
Yeah, and brought her on, and she's just become a superstar. There's no rhyme or reason as to how I bring people on the team. It's just a gut feeling. But the worst thing you can do is just go, Jeremy, I'm a big fan. I'd do anything you tell me to do. I just can't. No, fuck that. That's not going to work.
The bottom line is we're stronger together than we are apart. Yes. And that's the message. And if you share any of those common constructs, beliefs, agree with any of the videos that come out from the group, or even myself, that's what it's all about. And I tell people this all the time, and this is one thing, Jeremy, I want to get into with you, is there's a lot of false gods out there. There's a lot of people that spew a lot of shit, so to speak, or whether they have followings. Be careful who you follow and be careful who you pay attention to, and I tell everybody that. And if for 1 second the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, or you don't think it's genuine, you know, these support likes and shares and everything else are critical.
Yes, yeah, they very much are, and I'm glad you brought that up, because someone, I've been on the road for the last few days, so I'm a little out of the loop on a lot of the news, but I did see a person who he's been a big name in the commentary community for a long time. He's got 5-6 million subs, and that's Philip DeFranco. I don't know if you're familiar with Philip DeFranco. You familiar with him?
I know the name.
I've met him a few times, actually, myself.
Yeah.
The shit that he put on Twitter just 2 days ago is mind-blowing to me.
Pull it up. Can you pull it up back there?
Absolutely mind-blowing.
Not to be rude.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. And what it shows you is exactly what you're talking about.
Dun, dun, dun.
And Philip DeFranco is a literal piece of shit, and he's someone who...
Read it, right.
Go ahead, read
I'm going to look at it, but just
it's bad.
From my reference, from watching him the last, I don't know, maybe 8 years, he's really, the last 2 years, he's really, maybe even a little bit longer, he's just taken like this huge deep dive.
It's got to piss you off back there.
And I watch his content, and like
I can't wait for you to see what he said. It's fucking terrible.
Let's see.
Read one of them.
I don't know if it would be his most recent tweet or not.
See what you can find.
It's about a certain jab going around.
Let's see. LOL, I imagine having the eligibility and access to get the vaccine and saying nah. Also, to the pearl clutchers offended by this tweet, yes, I'm calling you stupid. And you go, fuck yourself, you ignorant, selfish fuckface.
I saw, I can't help myself sometimes with some of these tweets. I saw a tweet from Keith Olbermann. To everybody listening, this will be funny. I saw a tweet from Keith Olbermann where he was bashing Joe Rogan for talking about the vaccine, and the way that he was talking about it. And I'm like, Keith Olbermann, and this is what I'm talking about to everybody who's watching, who's paying attention. Let me put the camera on me because I need a fucking minute here. So this is what I'm talking about. Keith Olbermann. Like, dude, you are not doing hard-hitting news at ESPN calling home runs. Like, stop it. Who do you think you are?
He's a deranged lunatic.
More people tune in for Joe Rogan than will ever tune in for you, Keith Olbermann.
Yes.
Like, are you out of your fucking mind? And that's what I'm talking about to everybody out there that's listening. If you're not sharing or pushing this stuff out there, then you're supporting people like Keith Olbermann, people like Don Lemon. What is Don Lemon? Is he even a guy? What is he?
He's an NPC.
He's an it. The guy wears lip gloss.
He wears a lot more than lip gloss, but I'll keep that off of the show for right now.
You asked Don Lemon about that one.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, can we put a picture of him up? Like, he is the least embodiment of even a man, let alone a human. If they found his corpse 1,000 years from now, they'd be like, "What was this?" Because it certainly doesn't have a dick.
He would be the definition of a pork wallet. Something I
pork wallet,
pork wallet, or a twat waffle.
Pork wallet.
Pick whatever you want.
I'm gonna use that.
If you want to look up pork wallet, I wouldn't just talk about the description of pork wallet here on your show. I wouldn't talk about the
fuck is a pork wallet.
But,
Google pork wallet.
Pork wallet.
See what comes up. I want to see the first picture.
But
drag
I would
it
say
over.
Don Lemon is definitely a pork wallet, or a twat waffle, whichever you would like.
Back to the
him.
Keith Olbermann thing. I was like stunned that this guy had the stones to even post that.
Olbermann's been insane for a long time.
I'm like,
bro.
but that one was like, I was like, dude, are you serious? Do you hear yourself? You act like you're reporting hard-hitting news.
Yeah, have you seen him for the last 5 years?
Like,
he's insane.
All right, we got pork wallets up. Hold on. Don't copyright fucking ding us.
I would be careful about putting anything on Google
Yeah.
results. Don't.
No, I haven't put anything up.
Okay.
Pork wallet.
It's not on the feed.
It's not on the feed.
No.
Funny enough. Just do the Urban Dictionary, I guess, the meaning of pork wallet.
Let's see what Urban Dictionary.
Yeah.
Pork wallet. Let's see. Hold on. It says, no, you read it. A woman's wait, let me get the camera on me. I want to be clear when I say this into the camera. A woman's vaginal lips in which the male puts his pork sword and deposits dick cheese. Oh my God. Fuck me.
So that would be Don Lemon.
Yeah, there we go.
Pork wallet.
About that one.
I'm with that. Holy shit.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
that's
man.
a meme somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a part of my, I've been saying that on my live stream for a while. I either call people a pork wallet or a twat waffle. It's kind of my thing. But, yeah, I mean, Olbermann's been insane for a long time, dude. I mean, again, I used to watch Keith Olbermann and Dan Patrick on ESPN, and I loved those guys. You know what I mean? I thought they were amazing for the chemistry and the ways they would call things. But Keith Olbermann's been insane for a long fucking time, so it's to the point where I'm not shocked by anything the dude says. I'm actually shocked if he has a good take at this point.
I'm stunned. Well,
and Joe Rogan, they hate Joe Rogan because
he's the last vestige. And to everybody out there listening and paying attention, as sad as this sounds, and Joe is liberal on some issues, he's the last vestige of at least somebody injecting common sense into the conversation.
Yes.
I mean, I'm from Boston. He might be from Newton, but he does make some sense sometimes.
Well, I mean, and I don't have a problem. And just because I go and I have a lot of criticisms against far left wing ideology, I don't have a problem with liberals. I don't have a problem with Democrats. I don't have a problem with anyone that has those views. I don't even necessarily consider myself a Republican. I consider myself a Trump guy, and I consider myself to be more along the lines thinking of conservative values are far more beneficial to everything we're doing right now based on the current climate. But I have my problems with the far right too. The problem is that the far right has no impact on the entertainment industry or the sports industry or anything that I cover. It's more the far left is who's impacting everything that I'm into. So I want to be clear about that. It's that I don't have a problem with if you're just a person who has liberal views or if you're a Democrat. I have a problem with crazy left-wing people. That's my problem.
Most people on the right have a better ability to have a conversation.
Oh,
and not have a freak out session, not have one of those breakdowns.
Absolutely.
So you can have a conversation with people on the right. I had a great conversation last weekend with someone who's very liberal, who's actually a local news reporter here in Las Vegas. And we got along famously. We had a great conversation. And she said she couldn't argue. She said and I don't want to get into who it is because it'll affect their fucking job and all that bullshit. But they literally were saying, like, I've had multiple conversations and you're not wrong about how the left just spazzes. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't go their way, and that's the only thing that you will hear me talk about on this show or over the phone or whatever, where I get into left and right, is the freakouts.
Yes.
Everything is a freak out.
Yep.
And it immediately goes to you're racist, you're this, you're that. How did we get here, though? What is the genesis of that?
Obama.
I don't know, but I'm reading more of these DeFranco tweets. I'm just scrolling. I can't believe 8 years ago, let's just say, let's say 6 to 8 years ago, when he was really kind of getting big, when he was in Georgia.
Was respectable. He was respectable.
He really drew the line right down the middle.
Yeah.
Like you could always expect Phil to be down the middle.
Yes.
And now it's like reading some of these tweets, like he's sitting there just name calling everybody.
He's insane, dude.
He's just off the handle.
He is bought and paid for completely. Going back to your point though about I do believe that Obama was
the catalyst.
Oh my goodness. So look, full disclosure, I fucking hated George W. Bush and the Bush administration. I fucking hated them. I thought he was a terrible president.
I feel like Clinton was the biggest proliferator of late 90s, early 2000s of some of the problems, the toxicity of some of the problems that did exist. Because there was toxicity and there was some problems. But let's not make a mistake of where that was born out of. The guy was getting blowjobs under his desk in the White House.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't I have a problem with that.
Yeah, and I don't ever, listen, that's not my circus, not my monkeys. But at the end of the day, he's partly responsible for, if it was out of whack, for it getting there, because they had to normalize that in the media, so it was okay.
Yeah.
Not saying it was. I mean, look, I'm not here to form an opinion on it. I just say this: it takes two to tango.
Yeah.
People.
Well,
takes two.
So I mean, when it got to Obama, I fully supported his run for presidency because I was so dejected from the Bush administration. I fucking hated the Republican Party at that point in time. I hated their warmongering. I fucking hated it.
I don't think you were alone.
I hated the dude so bad. So I was, by default, it's kind of the whole, the Dark Knight quote about turning to a man they didn't fully understand. And I think a lot of people did that with Obama because they were so dejected from the Bush administration and Karl Rove and Dick Cheney and all of that. So Obama, becomes this rock star of a politician, and he checked all the boxes for the media. He was an incredible speaker. He had the diversity. He had the pizzazz, the name. He was a star after that DNC speech that he made. So
super charisma.
The charisma was off the charts. And of course, we're talking about politics. Fucking nobody gets elected in politics because of policy. Bill Clinton got elected because he played a saxophone on the Arsenio Hall show with sunglasses, and he was cool.
He got elected because he was an Arkansas Democrat, which is barely a Democrat.
And then George W. Bush got elected because his fucking family name. Or he was a guy you could have a beer with. Nobody was electing him on policy. And so we get to Obama, who was elected not on policy, on charisma and his speech, and the media loved him. But anyway, he won. I supported him in that first run. And then I'd say the last half of his second term,
he was one of the best things that happened in the gun industry, I can tell you that.
I heard that.
Salesman of the year.
By the second half of his second term, you started to see how he reacted to police shootings, how he would go out and set a narrative about what the cops were doing before the investigation was even halfway complete. And so he would incite a lot of anger based on information that was not factually correct. He created a lot of racial tension in this country with his words and his divisive language. And that's where it kind of started. And then I remember when Ghostbusters 2016 came out and how you're seeing the intertwining of the political machine start bleeding over into the Hollywood machine. You had the Ghostbusters 2016, the all-female reboot, which was a complete disaster from the moment it was announced. And then that's where you started to see when the criticism started happening, to that movie, it was, you guys are just intimidated by women. That's where the early phases of that nonsense started, but it didn't get elevated until The Last Jedi, the Star Wars movie, that was a piece of shit. And then you started to see a lot of the division that was created from the main political circus were starting to bleed over into the Hollywood aspect. And I think Obama was the biggest reason. He's not the person that started it, just like The Last Jedi is not the thing that started it in Hollywood. But I believe he's the person that elevated it to the next level.
Do you think Star Wars will ever dig itself out of it?
No. I think it's dead. For me and for real fans. If you're out there and you enjoy it, God bless you. But I think for what George Lucas created, it's dead. And it's not coming back.
I think Disney ruined it.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, though.
If it was savable, what's the path?
George Lucas has to come back, which he's never going to do. And Kathleen Kennedy would have to be fired, which is never going to happen. Because he's the one that gave her the job. He handed her the keys to the kingdom.
Do you think he regrets that?
I don't. I think George is like, so if you go back to the prequels.
It's hard to when you get $1 billion.
I love the prequels. I know a lot of people that
they've aged better than they haven't
aged very well, but I like them initially. But I think the backlash he got with the prequels, because the man was a literal god walking this earth before the prequels came out. I mean, the man, like, he was just viewed in such a light that, you know, people just viewed him as a literal walking, you know, embodiment of a you know, Hollywood god. And so then the prequels came out. They weren't what a lot of people wanted. There was a ton of criticism, and Star Wars was such a big brand at that point in time. He just never recovered from the criticism that the prequels created, and I think he was heartbroken by that, because the thing he created and gave to this world, then the fan base kind of turned on him. So I think the way he sees Star Wars now, I think he's just kind of over it, because he's already been down that path of getting rejected. So no, I think Star Wars is dead. I think Disney's ruined it. Even when we thought that it was even remotely close to recovering, they decided to go publicly fire and shame Gina Carano, which that was kind of the end for me when I saw that happen. I mean, I was already kind of moving to the place where I was done with it, but I was like, hey, Mandalorian's not too bad.
What if they brought her back?
I don't care. For her, I support her, because I believe that she would have her own reasons, and I know that she knows that the Cara Dune character is very important to a lot of kids.
Because I feel like Favreau plays a role in that. Like, I feel like John, like, people said, how could she go back? I said, I think she has a strong relationship with John, where John would be like, hey, I need you. You know what I mean? And that could pull on her heartstrings.
Yeah, no, I would fully support Gina if she returned. I would.
But I feel like the retarded thing people get into, like, I've seen other pundits out there, people say, oh yeah, she'll never go back because she's this strong. But you don't understand, in a business relationship, there are people you love.
Yeah.
And there's guys like Jon Favreau that you could tell, actors endear themselves to him and he endears himself to them and he pulls for them.
Right.
I could see him saying, I want Gina back. I'm not saying that's the path to redemption, but to everybody out there that's trying to, like, do long form fucking algebra to figure this out, that's really what would happen.
Yeah, but I mean, even if Gina comes back, it doesn't, like, that doesn't save Star Wars.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'd be naive to say that.
Yeah. If Gina comes back, that doesn't do anything to save Star Wars. All it does is
save a little face.
It saves a little face, but you've got massive problems that are, in my opinion, not redeemable under the current leadership of Disney, and you're not going to have
it's
Bob Iger,
it's
Bob
a far
and all them. They're not going anywhere.
It's a far longer road post Gina. Like, just putting Gina back in place, aside from storylines and everything else, it's a far longer road.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I brought Dana White up, and I mean, that type of leadership is what's needed in not only just sports but entertainment. But Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy runs an echo chamber of far left-wing activists, and they can say whatever they want on social media. They can call Trump supporters Nazis and racist, and that's perfectly acceptable by Lucasfilm standards. But Gina Carano can't have an opinion. And I've been saying this long before Gina got fired. I kept saying, when you look at Lucasfilm, when you look at their behavior of their employees, there's either one of two things going on. Number one, they don't have any Trump supporters or conservatives at Lucasfilm. Or number two, if they are there, they're not allowed to say anything. Neither one of those is a good answer. Neither one of those scenarios is a good answer. So why do the left-wing people get to talk, but no one either exists that is conservative or can share their opinions? That shows you that this is a left-wing echo chamber, and that is not good for anybody or any business. It's not good to have a right-wing echo chamber. It's not good to have a left-wing echo chamber. It's good to have different individuals to speak their minds and have their voices and let the chips fall where they may. And if you're scared of that opportunity, it sounds to me like you're scared of the actual message that you're trying to get behind.
Right.
Because if you have confidence in the message that you're trying to get behind, you don't need to silence the opposing side by sharing their message. And when you have these left-wing people that are scared of having a right-wing voice, that tells you everything you need to know about the left-wing ideology, is that they fear the message because they know it's flawed. So they want to silence any opposition. Fuck them.
You're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. Now, tying it all in to the information that you guys give on all the different channels and content, how does a layperson sift through what's right for them and what they should tune into? You guys have done a good job segmenting it with park hopping and outdoors and stemming into sports and everything else. What advice would you give to people as they navigate the Geeks and Gamers waters in terms of programming and channeling?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the main channel is obviously our biggest platform, Geeks and Gamers main YouTube channel. We have over 300,000 subscribers. That's predominantly a Jeremy-centric channel, but I'm slowly trying to
Sprinkle
other elements of our team in there. As a matter of fact, the most recent upload to the channel right now is a Demon Slayer cover by Christina, who's a professional musician, and Ivan, who's a professional Mexican. Love Ivan. Ivan's on the drums. That's my boy. And you know, we've got some other people on there, and that's a really good video, and I'm really proud of that. It's not going to get the views that Jeremy is going to get for complaining about Kevin Smith, but that's not really the point. But I'm trying to start to sprinkle more of that team element into that main channel. But I would think that's your jumping off point. And if you don't like the main channel, then I would ask you to then check out something like Park Hoppin', which is a lot more laid-back atmosphere that covers theme parks. And it's pretty fun. Everything that Jay and Tugs have created over there, and Lee, we got a great group of people over there. We also have the Sports Wars channel, which is predominantly me and Ryan, which we're actually bringing some new voices into that equation pretty soon. But that's I would say Sports Wars is that's for the Rough Riders. Like, our community over there, it's not for the weak-minded. You come over there and you're going to have thick skin.
You got to be ready to battle.
You got to be ready to battle.
I know. I've experienced some of that.
Yeah.
It's a very fierce crowd.
But jumping into the main channel and then just checking out the website, I think is the best jumping off point right now. And then you're just going to have to see what works for you. If you don't like me, the entire idea I've created at Geeks and Gamers is that I don't care if you like me. You're going to find somebody here that you do like if you look hard enough. And that's fine. I'm fine if there's people that go, I'm a fan of Geeks and Gamers, I just don't like Jeremy. But I like Jay, or I like Krista, or I like Tugs. Because if you don't like me, then you're not going to like Ryan either. Nobody says I don't like Jeremy, but I like Ryan, because we're both assholes. You know what I mean? Or nobody says, oh, I like... like me and Ryan, if you can't handle one of us, you ain't going to handle either of us. We're both assholes for different reasons. But... you have different personalities there, and you will find someone you like, and that's kind of been the whole idea of it. I've had people go, Jeremy, I can't believe Uche says this left-wing shit on Twitter. I can't believe that. Why? Why? I don't mind it. Uche, a former NFL football player, scoped us out for a year, and then he reached out to me because he liked what we were building, and he knew that me and him disagreed. So I drove to Atlanta to meet him. We hung out. And we got kicked out of a mall and a bar because we were yelling at each other too much. And that's great. And I was like, fuck, this will work. So you'll find somebody that you do like, even if you don't like me. And that's been the whole mentality of what I've tried to create.
I think it's smart. And I think it's not, it's not something that's happening enough.
Yeah.
That what I call
agree.
like that healthy discord. I'm searching for the word. It's okay to have a healthy debate. And I've said this, Jeremy. It's okay. Not everybody will agree with everybody.
Right.
That's a profound statement today.
Yeah.
And I think it's really simple, but for the most part, a hard lesson to learn. Very hard.
It is. And we'll get to a point where common sense is common again. It's just not common right now. We live in a TikTok world. We live in a Twitter world. And we live in a world where mainstream media is very upset and desperate because they're losing their grip on influence. So they're trying to do... Whoops. Yeah, didn't mean for that to turn up. But the mainstream is very jealous because, look, I'm not the biggest... Like, when I say I'm not the biggest fan of Tim Pool, it's not to say I don't like him. I respect what Tim Pool's done. But the point is he's taken a lot of CNN's thunder, and they don't like it.
Right.
They don't like it at all.
I see that.
This goes back to PewDiePie and how I think it was the Washington Post tried to destroy PewDiePie's career when he had 53 million subs. Now he's got 110 million. Didn't work out too good for him.
Well, I think they hate anybody that's building a following on, especially YouTube, because they want to control the airwaves.
No, absolutely, and that was my introduction to PewDiePie was when they went after him, and I'm like, why are they going after this guy? There's no way he can be the things they're saying. So I checked him out, and I'm like, he's funny, he's got common sense, and he roasts woke culture. Of course they hate him, and they tried to take him down. And look, what happens when you're desperate and you're dying? You'll literally do anything to survive if you have that opportunity. That's what the mainstream's doing. When you see Don Lemon, when you see CNN spewing the worst shit imaginable, and you ask yourself, how can they get away with this? What is going on? They're desperate because they're dying, and they know they're dying. And when you're dying, and it's obvious that the end of your road is almost there, you're willing to say and do anything to stay relevant. That's why CNN will say and do anything right now. It's why they don't have standards. It's why they don't have morals, because they are desperate to hang on to that little bit of life they have left.
Right.
That's it.
I agree with you 100%. I think they're all clinging on.
Yeah.
And I think it's at the point where it's in the people's hands. And as dumb as this sounds to everybody listening, it's entirely up to you guys. We have to stop hiding in cabinets and cupboards and ducking and weaving and diving into alleys like Michael Myers is chasing us.
Yep.
And you have to not be afraid to say, hey, here's what I stand for. I got a call, guys. I want to share this. I got a call from a recent guest. Not going to get into who. You'll be able to figure it out if you do any research. She's a nurse, very outspoken about COVID and the vaccine. And she lost her job. And it's the second job she's been through. Wow. All because she doesn't want to put something in her body that she knows they can't test for properly. She knows didn't go through the proper process. And as a medical professional, she's scared. And she doesn't know who to talk to. And she's fallen into this in-between where she's like, what do I do? And she said to me, what do I do? And I'm like, I don't know. But this is what's going on in America because of what's been created.
Yeah. And that fear is
real.
What they want. And that's what they want. They want that fear. So again, what did I say about it? Desperate people, they want you to be desperate and they want you to be fearful. That's why the CNNs will literally do anything in the fucking world to stay relevant. And they want to create that fear within other people to go, hey, you know what? I don't really want to get this, but I might lose my job and my livelihood and my family could be compromised, so I need to go ahead and get it anyway. They're trying to create that desperation in people. And look, I am not anti-vax. I'm not pro-vax. I'm anti-do whatever the fuck you think works best for you and your family. That's what I'm pro. That's say anti. I'm pro that. I'm pro you doing what's best for you and your family.
I think you should do the research and make the best decision.
Yes, do what's best for you and your family. And if you think that getting the vaccine is the best thing for you, God bless you. If you don't think it's good for you, God bless you. I'll support you. I'm not going to support you if you take a fucking picture on social media celebrating that you got the vaccine with a bunch of clapping hands saying everybody else needs to get the vax or you are killing people. Fuck you. I have no respect and I will not support that. I do support people that just go, yeah, I'm going to get this because I think it works for me.
I had an interesting theory floated to me the other day. Someone said to me, they said, watch how this plays out. And I'm saying it on air because I wanted it immortalized. They said, what's going to happen is eventually all these people that got the vaccine are going to start getting sick and they're no longer going to be able to hide it behind the Delta variant. They're hiding it behind the Delta variant because they can't actually test for the Delta variant. They use a COVID test, and basically if the person tests positive and they've had the vaccination, they have the Delta variant. That's how they've determined what the Delta variant is. because there's no test for the Delta variant. If you went to the CDC or Jesus Christ and said, what's the test for the Delta variant? They say it's a COVID test. But if you had the vaccine and you test positive, then you have the Delta variant. That's what they determine. Eventually the switch will flip because they've milked this for all that they can, and they're going to turn it into Trump killed us by warp speeding the vaccine.
Oh, yeah.
And that will come out right around the time he decides to run again, whether it's him or DeSantis. Mm-hmm. And that's what they're going to do. Now, they're afraid of DeSantis because of a number of reasons. They're afraid of him because of he had a successful track record dealing with vaccination / mitigating the virus, building his own ecosystem in Florida, and he was basically like, fuck everybody else. So they fear that because they don't control it. If I'm starting to make sense and this is starting to form a narrative, then sit up and pay attention because this is important. You're being fed this stuff to control how you think and how you vote. And that's incredibly important to whatever the other side is. To your point, left, right, doesn't matter. Left, right, no different. You're being fed this to control you. And I do kind of buy into the theory. And this came to me from a high-level guy, guys. They said, watch, this is what they're going to do. So you need to stop looking at the media as a source for actual truth and start to look at it as an oar in the ocean trying to guide their truth.
Yep. You're right. You're right. And what you said about DeSantis, like, I don't think DeSantis becomes DeSantis without Trump. But I also think now we're reaching a point where there's a point where they probably are going to be more terrified of DeSantis in 2024.
The question is whether or not Don Sr. is gonna run.
I was
That's the
personally,
million.
I mean, now for me, I'm a Trump guy, and I want Trump to run in 2024, and I want DeSantis to be his VP. Now that does leave open Florida, though. Don't want.
Well, I think
it was pretty close, but 4 more years of
fine.
Trump and then 8 years of DeSantis sounds like a pretty fucking great deal to me.
Well, that's the ideal for any party. The issue is going to be who has the juice, and
Right.
that comes down to a backroom dick measuring contest, and that happens with all parties and all politics.
Absolutely, but I think DeSantis has got an insane amount of momentum.
There's no question he's the future of the party.
Trump, and he's more polished
there's
than Trump.
no question he's the future of the party.
Yeah, and him being more polished.
The question is when he's going to decide his future. If you see him come out with a statement where he says, I'm going to serve out the term, blah, 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 that means he acquiesced. And what Don would probably do is if he was elected 2 years in, he's going to bump him into like Secretary of State or something.
Yeah. He's so much
That's how you know if the deal was made.
Right. He's so much more polished than Trump as a politician, and which I don't like saying that because I don't like the political correctness that's necessary. It's just that Trump is just such an asshole, and I love that about him. But it creates.
But you got to be an East Coaster to love that. That's the problem. It doesn't play well in the Midwest.
I love
and
the guy.
in the West Coast. They're like, he's rude.
I love when one of the criticisms of Trump is that he's arrogant and he objectifies women. I'm like, yeah, literally, I would be disappointed if he didn't.
I love when Howard Stern calls him rude.
Oh God,
that's
so
one of the best.
beautiful to
That's
hear
one of the
that
best
one.
things going now.
Like as a kid.
I just want to know when Howard Stern sold out.
Oh God.
And I know Howard doesn't listen to my show and doesn't have a reason to, but Howard, if you or any of your staff ever happen to listen to this, maybe the SEO will kick in. What the fuck happened to you?
Yeah, Howard Stern. It's pretty sad to see what. And again, I've never been the biggest Stern guy, but I know Gary from Nerdrotic, who's going to be here with the Friday Night Tights meetup. He was a big Stern guy back in the day, and he's just so disappointed with what Stern's become. But I remember my first view of Trump when I was a kid watching WrestleMania when they were at one of Trump's hotel and casinos.
I think it was WrestleMania 3 or 4.
I feel like it was 5. The Mega Powers exploded.
The Mega Powers.
And Trump walks in, and I'm a young kid. All I remember is this Donald Trump guy walking in with a lot of women around him, and I'm thinking that's the richest man in the world. That's the person I've known for the last 30 years.
Right.
So for people to go, oh, he's an asshole who slept with porn stars. Like, yeah, that's exactly who he is, and that's why we voted for him. Like, of course he is. Like that doesn't surprise anybody.
No.
He was Hollywood's favorite person until he ran for office. Well,
I think it was when it became legitimate that he could win. That was when everybody turned because it was basically like he had reached the level they want to get to.
Yeah.
And you want to find haters, guys? Go somewhere where your friends haven't.
Yep, that's true.
It doesn't matter. Go to a bar room, go to a movie. They haven't gone, I heard that sucked.
Yep.
It's like instantly it turns into some bullshit. Well, look, wait. I love having you, and I want to say that before we get too long in the tooth here. This is a lot of fun, and I hope in the future you always find a home here, and I'd love to have you back. I mean that.
Well, I mean, it's what you've done for us in just a short period of time of getting to know you, and a lot of people, whether you do or you don't know, the doors that John has potentially opened up for us, and the insight and the advice, because I don't feel like I'm a guest here as much as I'm someone that, just John has looked at and said, I want to help you guys because I believe in what you're doing. The fact that I'm just a guy, and then John looks so deep into his guest to see I like what you're doing here. You could probably be doing this a little bit differently. And he's given me and Ryan and the team so much advice. It's a really cool, feeling to have where somebody's just not bringing you in to just be a spot on their show. He's actually looked out for us. He sees potential with us, and he's helped us in a lot of different ways, to the point where he's actually increased morale at Geeks and Gamers. Like, you may not know that, but you have. You've increased the morale because Ryan and I have, because Ryan's definitely, one of the leaders at Geeks and Gamers, and when we're able to follow up with the team and go, hey guys, look, we got some great opportunities that have been presented to us, and we think it's going to lead us in a new direction. That's a lot to do with you, man. And I love doing it, and I love having you guys, and I think the energy, and I think what you guys are doing is the right thing, and I think it's what a segment needs right now. And whether you have captured that entire segment or it's only just the beginning or wherever it goes, but I think you guys have captured something, and I think your audience genuinely understands what you're trying to do. And I think every time they send $1 or spend $1 or do anything, I think what they've realized is you need to make this happen. You have a delivery system for the information that people want. And you have a good delivery about you guys. You all have your own way of doing things, which sings in a nice harmony. And I think, you represent maybe an in-between, a coming-of-age group that's trying to navigate and see, am I being fed some bullshit? Or is this real? Well, I hope that people see what we have and just understand that, again, I think I am what Geeks and Gamers is it should represent to everyone out there that you and your voice are far more powerful than you'll ever realize. And the only way you're going to be able to find out what type of potential it has is to take that risk. Turn on a camera. I've said this over and over again. I don't care if you have an iPhone. I don't care if you have an Android. If you have a smartphone, you have the ability to be a content creator. Create yourself a YouTube account. Turn that phone on and record yourself. Give your opinion, right. Educated opinion. It don't just think about what you're saying and understand that your words are going to resonate with someone out there. And how many people, that's yet to be seen. But the only time that you're truly failing is when you're not trying. That's it. That's the only time you're truly failing. Failure is part of life. Missing the mark occasionally makes you learn from it. Not reaching expectations should only be used as a motivating factor. Mistakes should be opportunities to learn. But the true failure, the only failure to me, is just not trying at all. Right. I agree. If you turn the camera on, you upload that video, you have something to say, you connect with people, you never know. Literally working retail a few years ago, listening to podcasts, and just thinking, what would it be like to have a platform? What would it be like to have fans or people that support you? What would that be like? Well, I mean, I don't necessarily think about what we have a lot. Like John asked me earlier, what do you think about all this? It's got to be pretty humbling. And it is at those small moments where I think about it. But it's only happened because I turned the camera on and I started giving my honest, unfiltered opinions. And now it's connected with people. And if you have things to say, and if you have a simple smartphone, turn that damn thing on and do it. Because the only person holding you back is you. And if you have that slightest ability to do it, do it. I like that. Well, listen, I want to leave it there. We've gone for about an hour and 20. I think it's time to wrap. Has it already been an hour and 20?
Yeah.
Man, I didn't even get into a good rant yet.
Hey, listen, you have plenty of time. We're doing a round table. Like I said, I love having you. It's been a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it. I want to thank everybody. I want to say, head over to www.johnbartoloshow.com. Go check out a complete list of the sponsors listed on the website. Go check out all of them. Leave reviews. Do a terrible job asking reviews. Head over to the Warrior Poet Society Network. Please subscribe. Use the code Bartolo and subscribe to the WPSN. If you have not downloaded the app, download the app. And if you have not paid your $10, do it. Sign up. I want to thank Galotech, Rhino Metals, Blackwater Ammunition, Enforce Weapon Lights, Pulsar Thermal Imaging Technology, Advanced Warrior Solutions, and I got to thank Right On Optics and Volquartsen. Appreciate those guys. Shout out to them and BLK Water. Once you go black, you never go back. BLK Water. I just made that up. Let me know how it works. I want to thank Jeremy. It's been amazing having you. Let everybody know where they can find you, how they can reach you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, geeksandgamers.com, our website. That's kind of the foundation for everything we have. But, you know, you can check us out on the Geeks and Gamers main YouTube channel. My personal channel, D-Day Cobra, which I don't upload to a lot because most of the things that I want to say on that channel, YouTube, not really a fan of. So I've just kind of been holding back. But yeah, it's been a pleasure to be here.
Oh.
We've got so many people from the team here as well. You've taken great care of us, man. And
we're going to do it again Thursday.
We're going to be doing it again Thursday. With so again, if anybody from Geeks and Gamers is watching this, subscribe to John Bartolo over on YouTube.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Because that's our little home right here. So subscribe to John Bartolo. We're going to be back later this week, probably a few times this week from this studio, and there's going to be a lot of good content. So
I love
pleasure being here, buddy.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate having you. I love you guys, and can't thank you guys enough. Go ahead, leave reviews. Appreciate all the follows. I'm going to be watching subscribers. We're going to be doing giveaways, so pay attention, and get ready for Thursday roundtable. We're out.
Look forward to it.